All right, let's do it. Let's get this started. I'm recording this one day after the game we just drew against Lyon. So yesterday we had that game against Lyon where we drew 2-2 in the Europa League when we obviously needed a win so we could be a little bit less stressed out about advancing in the Europa League, because it's definitely the only way we're going to get into the Champions League, and if we do that, then we could probably add some much needed funds to our summer transfer kitty. The worst part about it is we could have won the game. We were up 2-1 with a couple of minutes to go when Onana made the same mistake I've been talking about in the past videos for like the last 3 months. He makes saves by knocking the ball right back out in front of goal for anyone to tap in. It's actually unbelievable how bad his fundamentals in goalkeeping are, and the timing of his mistakes couldn't be much worse. In this video, we're not really going to focus on that. I'm going to be tactically analyzing the game. I'm going to show you clips from the game that have nothing to do with Onana. And we're going to talk about the Amorim style. Are we getting better at running his style? The kinds of runs we were making, the good and the bad performers, and where we hopefully go from here. But first, what's up, YouTube? Thank you for clicking on the video. Thank you for joining me one more time again. Thank you for all the guys who clicked the like button on the last video. I know that we are still not getting to the 250 plus likes that I'm trying to get to. We didn't even get to 200, I believe, on the last video, but we got close. We got to like 180. Guys, if you watch my videos all the time, if you like my stuff, you're always watching my videos, click the like button, man. Take 5 seconds out of your time right now and click the like button real quick and help me get to over 250 likes on this video. This video is going to be the ones that you guys usually love to see me do. And how do I know that? Because every time I do a tactical video, I get over 5,000 views. My regular videos get about 1,500 to 2,000 views. The tactical videos get 5,000 views. Unfortunately, I don't make money doing this, and these kind of videos take me a lot of time. Yesterday, I had to watch the game 3 times. Yes, 3 times to try and see everything we were doing and if anything has changed. Good news, not much has changed. Bad news, I probably could have got away with just watching it twice because I didn't see anything new the 3rd time I watched it. But we're going to get right into that. We're going to dissect the system, and I'm going to introduce some new things too, or at least one new thing, which is a diamond shape that I haven't talked about much. But also, if you're new to my channel and you want to keep up with what we're talking about, you should be watching this video right here. That thumbnail, go click on that video of my old videos. I think it's like 2 months old now. And that thumbnail, that video will explain everything about Amorim's tactics that he had at Sporting, that he's trying to bring here to Manchester, and it shows video clips of Sporting compared to the Manchester, and people who like these kind of videos, they love that video, and that way I don't have to explain everything I've already explained before in the past when we get into this video. Okay, let's get right into it. So right from the start, we start seeing the same shape and buildup that Ruben likes to use. We create these diamonds on the ball side of the pitch. Like here, our wing back checks back to receive the ball from the center back, and now we have that diamond with these 4 players. The next move is going to be for the diagonal run, which Ruben loves, from the inside 10 to zone 18. Just think inside out if you haven't seen my previous videos, the one with the thumbnail that I showed you before. While that's happening, Ugarte is going to fill to the space that Garnacho's vacating, and Casemiro is going to fill in for Ugarte. Once that is done, you now form a new diamond with Casemiro that should move the opposition players around, opening up a lot of space in front of the striker, who would have to receive and hold up the ball in that space and distribute it wisely once his teammates get forward. Now in this play, Delo makes a bad pass, and this is probably why Ruben would rather a left-footed right wing back. But also, this is why I keep talking about needing a striker who can play with his back to the goal. Holding the ball up is a vital skill that our striker has to have. So when I scout the lap and I make that video like I did about the lap, my main thing that I'm looking for, because I know he can score goals and I know he can run forward with the ball, but can he play with a defender on his back in these types of spaces like I just showed you? Because he's going to need to settle long balls. He's going to need to trap balls with a defender on his back. He's going to need to hold up play and then distribute it. Anyways, enough about that. Let's get back to this game. 30 seconds after that last play, we did the same thing on the other side, and you can see how much space this creates in front of Rasmus. Unfortunately, though, Dorgu gets fouled on this play, so nothing really develops from it. Now, 2 minutes later, and the same thing is happening. Unfortunately, the camera is a close-up on Euro, but this is what the shape looked like a second before that camera cut. So you can see if everyone moves in the right way, then there's going to be a lot of space for Rasmus, who will need to be there. And yes, he is there. Euro makes a great moves and gives it to Dorgu, and Rasmus checks back into that space that had opened up, and Dorgu feeds him the ball. This time, Rasmus does a pretty good job holding and distributing, probably because the defender gave him a hell of a lot of space there. So he didn't really have anybody touching him or on his back. And guess what? We are off on the attack, running at their goal with a lot of players. Garnacho makes a diagonal run outside, and Delo gives him the ball. And just like usual, he just wastes the chance with a cross that's easily blocked. And that brings me to the Garnacho problem. Some people think he's a special player, and I can understand why, but I don't believe that. I think he's a good player that may develop into something someday, but right now, he's just not that good. He makes a lot of bad decisions and doesn't know how to calculate risk and reward quickly in his head once he sees the picture in front of him. This probably deserves a deeper discussion about what I'm talking about when I say the picture in front of him, how to calculate risk. So you've heard in sports that a player has vision, or he's always in the right place at the right time, or he's always making the good decisions. And the thing about that is the way vision works, because it is called vision. The way vision works is you scan the area, especially in a team sport, you scan the area and you take quick pictures in your mind of what the layout looks like now. And in your mind, you compute what it's going to look like in a second or 2 seconds or 3 seconds. After 2 or 3 seconds, you scan again because the picture might change and you have to recompute and take into account anything that might have happened that you didn't foresee happening. Basically, it's a skill to know what's going to happen 3 seconds before it happens. If you guys know anything about computers and graphics and video games and stuff like that, so these days, GPUs, graphics processing units, have what we call fake frames. They generate frames, and the brain kind of works that same way when it comes to what I'm talking about. You take a quick glance at everything that's going on, and now you can focus back on the ball or what it is you're trying to achieve. For the next 2 or 3 seconds, you don't have to look around anymore, but in your brain, you're playing out the scenario as you predict it's going to happen. That's called vision. Being able to be visionary is to be able to see something that's not there yet, right? So, but after 3 seconds, you have to recalculate, recheck, rescan, relook around because things do change. But the point is this: Garnacho doesn't seem to have any vision. Now, the players who have a lot of vision that I can give you examples of is like Lionel Messi. That man has a lot of vision. You'll see him scanning around, and it's like he knows when an opponent's going to stick their foot out to make a tackle, and he's already going around them and things of that nature. He knows that if I touch the ball another 2 meters in front of me, my opponent's going to stick his foot out, and then I can get to that ball before he does, and I can go around. Lamine Yamal is the same way. Iniesta had that. Now there's other Rodrigo has that in Real Madrid. Mbappe doesn't. Vinicius doesn't. Now I'm not saying they're not good players. I would love Vinicius or Mbappe to play for us. That's not what I'm saying. Those guys beat people mostly based on like skills they possess, like speed, like being able to trick somebody with a ball. That's the way Rashford in his prime was. Rashford in his prime would do the flip-flap or elastico, whatever you want to call it, and he would get around somebody, not because he had vision, not because he knew what the opponent was going to do before he does it, because of a technical skill he would beat them. Somebody else who has good vision is Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes is not fast, but it's hard to get the ball from him. He knows how to touch a ball, when to touch a ball, not just how to use his body. I'm actually talking about how to dribble around people because he knows he can bait them into trying to stick their foot out and he can go around them. It's different. Vision is different than a skill or speed. You know, Rashford would much rather try to knock the ball past you and run. That's not vision. That's still a skill, and it's a valuable skill to have. If you're faster than somebody or if you have all the tricks in your bag, those are valuable skills to have, but you add vision on top of that, and that makes you almost unstoppable, like Neymar in his prime. Neymar had decent vision, not as good as Messi or Iniesta. He had decent vision, but he also had a bag full of skills, which made him really, really hard to stop. Somebody who had best of both worlds was Ronaldinho in his prime. But that's what I'm talking about when I say Garnacho has a vision issue. Like, he doesn't foresee things correctly. He thinks that's why they make bad decisions. When a player is making bad decisions, he's just computing things incorrectly in his own head. He's taken in the data, or maybe not even scanning well enough. But if he's scanning, which I think he is, he's scanning, but then it's not computing to the right things in his own head. If that makes sense, let me know in the comments. If you have something to add to that conversation, also let me know in the comments. These are the kind of things I like to study and read about and discuss. They're high-level coaching things, if you will. Very hard to figure out how to coach vision into a player, by the way. Very, very hard. I don't even know if it's possible, but people do try. I think it has to do with just studying, watching video, and then fake it till you make it is kind of my motto there, and then you see if somebody gets better or not. But anyway, I'm getting off on a rant again. Let's get back to the conversation at hand. So I think that's what the Garnacho problem is. No vision, bad computation and decision making. But as for Rasmus, I think he may just be out of his league. The club is too big for him. I'm not saying he has great vision or anything, but because this guy isn't even like challenging for aerial duels in some cases. And the Amorim system does call for long balls or aerial balls to be hit towards the striker and for him to have to deal with it. But also, what should be easier side of the tactics, the Rúben Amorim tactics, which is running into zone 16 and 18, the striker is supposed to make that so he could get us up the field. Even when it's on and he has all the space in the world, it seems like he gets nervous and kills the play. Like right here, he gets checked with a little shoulder from a defender and he's on the floor. He's just on the floor way too often. I even made a video about this from December or January where I just showed how many times Rasmus gets bullied and ends up on the floor. It's not good. We need someone who can stand his ground, who can take the hits and still hold the ball up and then also make a decent decision and a decent pass. So if Jason Wilcox has got his mindset on getting the lap, whether that's because of financial issues or whether that's because he really thinks he's the right player for us, I need to find out if the lap can hold up the ball. And can he take a shoulder charge and stay on his feet, unless it's a real foul? I don't want a striker who can't do that because the system needs him to be able to do it. Someone in my comments last video accused me of being a dumb conspiracy theorist. Bro, if you think I'm dumb, then why are you watching my videos? I hope you're not here watching, but who's actually dumber? The guy with the ideas or the guy who thinks the guy's ideas are dumb but still wastes his time watching his videos and commenting? I'm just telling you from my experience what I think. This is not conspiracy theory. And if I say that I feel like we're being linked to a bunch of Jason Wilcox players, then it's because when I look around, I see Tyler Dibling's name come up. Nemensha's name used to come up last week, and now Delap's name's coming up. These are all guys who have links and ties to Jason Wilcox. I hope I'm not right. I hope we're not just going to go after people that have experiences with him. But I'm also hearing now that we're looking at Cunha, which is amazing. I would love Cunha to join our team. I have a little bit of issues with maybe if he has an attitude problem or not, but we also kind of need a tough guy. And if he's going to be that tough guy for us in front of our midfield line, I'm all for it. So I am all for Cunha. Guys, I don't discourage, I actually encourage anybody who doesn't agree with anything I say to leave comments. I say it in every video. If you disagree with me, leave a comment so that we can have a conversation about it. I love to be challenged. I love to try to think a different way or to learn something new. But if you do that, if you disagree with me, don't call me names. Try not to insult me. Just tell me which one of my ideas you disagree with and why. That's how a conversation goes. It doesn't go by, I can't believe you're spreading dumb conspiracies about Jason Wilcox or anybody else. Dude, I didn't wake up in the morning and go, let me think of a dumb conspiracy to get clicks. That's not how I do things. When the guys who've been with me know this has been a long road. It took me over a year to get 1,000 subscribers because I don't do things for the clicks. I tell you guys what I see and the honest opinions that go through my head and heart before I make this video. But anyway, enough about that. Let's get back to the subject at hand. I'm not going to talk about the goals because everyone knows about the goals, and I'm sure every Man United channel has already talked about every goal in that game. And the good ones, like I'm so glad that Lenny Euro finally scored a goal, and the bad ones that Onana sucked as a goalkeeper and let in. It's not rocket science, by the way, for me to say that he was bad or a genius observation. We need to move on from that goalkeeper and get a new goalkeeper, but I don't want to make this video about that. So all I want to say is that all around ball movement and our passing and our positioning was a lot better. We had a lot of passes into the corner zones like Amorim wants, but we couldn't do anything too dangerous from them. Like here, we launched one to Garnacho, who brought it down and just kept it for a couple of touches before giving it to Delo, which isn't bad at all. Like, that's fine. It moves our players out of our half and into the opponent's half. That's totally fine, and that's kind of a part of why we're doing these kind of passes. Sometimes, though, the passes just didn't fall for us. Like when we tried to hit Dorgu a couple of times, it just didn't fall. The pass maybe was a little bit off, or the run was a little bit late, or anything goes wrong. We have to get better at sending these passes, and the people who are trying to go and receive these passes have to have a little bit more pace and strength. You have to have pace so you can get there on time and before your defender, and you have to have strength because no doubt your defender is going to put a body on you, especially in the Premier League. Whereas in this game, there wasn't much of that going on except for with Rasmus, but in the Premier League, that's going to happen all the time, and we have to get better at taking those hits and staying on our feet or making sure that it's a foul before we fall down. The other thing is with these passes, it's not just to create goal-scoring chances, but it also stretches out the other team and makes their work very hard. Sporting punished Man City and other big teams with these tactics in the Champions League before Ruben joined us. Ruben's tactics aren't just all long balls, they are a mixture of everything. He has players close to each other in that diamond shape that I showed you before, and if the opposing teams commit too many numbers to try and stop that play, which is what happened in this game, then he goes long. But the problem is our players don't make anything good out of those situations, so the opponents allow us to keep trying it. This isn't just a simple long ball. These are long balls into wide open spaces. It's not a long ball where everybody's jumping up for a header and there's 4 people there or 3 people there. It's literally a long ball that is at the end of a foot race between one of your fastest players against one of their slowest players. You would hope that it's Rasmus against the center back. But if I was playing against Rasmus and I kept, if I was the manager of the other team and I kept seeing him fall on his ass every time they tried it, then I would let them to keep trying it too. Go ahead. Keep punting the balls all the way over there all game long. But the play is getting better. Here, the timing of Xerxes' run into corner and Dorgu's first time pass is perfect, but the pass was bad and ended up going out for a throw-in. So what I mean to say is the manager's ideas are getting in most of our players' heads. But unfortunately, we have some players who are just not good enough to capitalize on the situations the manager's system is creating for them. But also, sometimes even our good players are just making poor or bad passes. Guys, if you're still here, if you're still watching this, drop that like. Drop the like if you haven't. Give me 5 seconds of your time and drop the like. But now we have to switch the conversation to what do we do next? Are we going to be able to get into Champions League if they keep playing like this? What are we going to do about Onana? Is it time to bench him and have Bayindir play? Look, by the time you watch this, the Newcastle game is either the next day or you've already watched the Newcastle game before you watch this video, which is totally understandable. I get it. I don't watch too much YouTube on the weekends either. But I think he has to do something here with the Onana situation and with mixing up the play up front. I really like the way that Mason Mount runs when he's playing, and I like the kind of decisions he makes. If you rewatch that game, I didn't show clips of it, but if you rewatch that game, Mason Mount hardly lost the ball. I know he didn't play that long, but he hardly lost the ball. I kind of think Mount needs to be involved a lot earlier than we're involving him. I just don't know how his injury situation is going and what that's like, because I think Mount can use some minutes against Newcastle so that hopefully he could be a little bit more fit for next week's game against Lyon. Guys, thank you so much for being with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I showed something that maybe you didn't think about or see. Other than that, drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and also if you're new, go watch that video of that thumbnail, this thumbnail here, and I'll put a link to that video in the description of this video, and I will try to be live on Wednesday, but I'll make a video after Newcastle to let you know for sure if I'm going live on Wednesday or not. So watch for the Newcastle video on either Monday morning or Tuesday morning, your time. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you in the comments. Thanks, guys. Hit the like.